Greetings once again, people, and welcome to yet another episode of Threewave Capture, I guess we should say. It's so weird not to say Seeking Shamblers. Definitely would be nice once we get back to it, just so I could say Seeking Shamblers again. But anyway, this time around we're checking out, obviously, CTF3, Capture the Flag Map 3. And this one's made by Chris Bort Thurbadoo. Chris Bort Thurbadoo is basically the person who once upon a time made Chris's test map, which was also known as Q Chunks. Basically the thing about that level was that it's one of the earliest Quake maps ever made. In fact, historically speaking, it's possibly... yeah, it just comes right after Dalius's levels as one of the earliest. And I think map 01 was also earlier than it. But still, even with those being there, it's still one of the earliest in the entire series that we've checked out. And one of the earliest that was made, therefore. And now we're seeing him making another level. In fact, he hasn't made another level, as far as I'm aware, since that time. So, rather interesting to see him coming out of the woodwork after a few months to finally make another level for Threewave Capture, of all things. Though I guess it makes sense because Threewave Capture being the big thing that it is or whatnot, and the fact that it seems to be drawing people out. It brought the guy who did the coffin of all people out. And now we're seeing suddenly, this level made by Chris Thurbadoo, of all people. Anyway, that's the question, what is this level? Well, it's known as DySpHoRiA, and it's all basically that leet style of like capital letters and lowercase letters. It's also known as DySpHoRiA CTF, at least according to the documentation. I find that rather weird that they would include CTF in the name there. The other two were identical to what they were in the levels, so I'm rather surprised that there's a difference between the documentation level name there. And I'm also rather surprised that it's called CTF anyway, when every level is CTF. This is a whole CTF modification. So why include that at all? You would think these mods were like released separately and then like compiled into this thing, but we haven't seen any of these maps anywhere else whatsoever for Quake, so... I can only assume that they were made and then maybe included it as a thing at like the last minute, or it was made specifically for it. It had to be made specifically for it because how else would you really do the capture the flag based modification in which this whole thing's designed around? And as you can see, there's very blatant bases in each one of these, as well as the fact that there is the capture the flag texture that's tying all these levels together. Anyway, enough of those weird mysteries. Let's actually check out the level in particular and see what exactly there is to see on this particular one. CTF3, Leet, DySpHoRiA. And so we spawn right with a rocket launcher. So apparently the middle of the map, I'm assuming has a rocket launcher. And that's what I'm assuming where we are, just like the other two. So you see, here's some arrows that point us in the directions of where we want to go, either to the red base or the blue base. Really weird that each one of these has been used in different ways to designate what each base is. Yeah, every single one of these maps hasn't really been consistent in what they use to designate where the red base and blue base are. The first one had like red lines, so like actual like textured bases to like see each one of them. And they had very blatant flag textures. The second one used like a physical flag and designed out a flag. And then it had like red and blue lights, like Runic lights. And these are used to like almost like in-base arrows, but made them red and blue. Like the same coloration as the lights we saw last time, but a totally different designation. And then we have these lights up here, which also show which base it is. Yeah, just flat out lights. So as you can see, you can also see teleporters, which are designating the lights, apparently. Interestingly enough. So you have a lot of ways designating which base is which base, with the rocket launcher area being in the middle, obviously. So you come over here, you can gather some ammo, little goodies like that, nothing really big. I'm assuming these lead to the bases themselves. What's in here? Looks like nothing's in here. Okay, there's nothing on that side, and there's nothing on the other side. These just basically are another thing to showcase which base is which base. Okay, let's actually get back to capture the flag. Now that I kind of saw the basics of this mode, let's switch to another map like E444, whatever. Then I'll switch to deathmatch, and I'll switch to what you call it, team play 256. That way, we're basically going to be swapping in to capture the flag with Deathmatch 1, as we normally would do. You may ask why I do Deathmatch 1 as a general rule. It's mostly just to establish how many guns are on, like, a certain entity. Like, some of these maps have, like, multiple guns on a same spot, for whatever reason. Like, they'll have, like, multiple double-barreled shotguns located in the same area as a weird anomaly. As a general rule, it doesn't really happen. And it's probably something that really doesn't matter as a general rule, therefore, if we did Deathmatch 1 or Deathmatch 2. But just because of that, and because there's no real benefit to really check out these levels of Deathmatch 2, plus it's easier just to do Deathmatch 1, because it's the first one. Therefore, I usually just load in Deathmatch 1 and call it a day. But yeah, if you're ever curious why I don't really generally bother with Deathmatch 2, that's sort of why, because it's just... It's a little bit extra work, and it doesn't showcase as much, I feel, as Deathmatch 1 does, from the perspective that we're doing it from. If you're playing the actual levels and you're actually doing them in a deathmatch thing, I imagine it's based on what exactly you want from the experience. So, with that in mind, let's load up CTF3. And so now we're at the red base, apparently. Interesting. So the red base is some fancy little area with like a ringish thing, it looks like. Some circular thing. And we got a super nail gun. Just like the single player spawn point, we actually start with a gun. Oh, look at that. Red striping. Rather weird, but is that like the same coloration stuff that we saw on the flag? I think so. Maybe not. I don't really know at this point. But yeah, there's little spawn locations whereby you get like the different guns. So, we definitely have that. And yeah, it seems like a lot of this map is really designated to the bases themselves. But yeah, you can see really, this is like the main area of each base. There's the super nail gun respawned. And we also have our cage area, which is the inner portion of this base. And also we can see a lot of goodies, like the flag itself, which is the most important part, obviously. And also we have these weird looking wind tunnels, where there is stuff at the edge of them. There's a teleporter up there that I'm assuming you can drop to the stuff here. The yellow armor and the 100 health. So let's see if we can use those teleporters to like dive into the base or something. Also, there are some elevators around here that allow like an upper floor. There seems to be an upper floor chaining everything together. But there's also this water. Where's this water lead? Oh, it leads down to I see, this is like an underground section between the two bases. So, sort of like the other level, the kiln. Basically, you have 3 levels that you're working with. An underground level, an upper level, and a middle level. This is like the underground level, which is just a small little area filled with water. This basically leads to the red base. As you can see, I'm assuming at some point we're going to chain ourselves with the blue base area. That's some interesting texture. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's see here. We got more super nail gun ammo. Yeah, look at this. Weird little computer textures. That's definitely different. What the? What did I just do? Okay, so shooting them does something. I'm not sure what, but it definitely does something. Also, I don't like these. Okay, what does this open? I think it opens something right around here. But yeah, basically you have this area, and this is going towards the blue base. Okay, and yeah, this is like the middle area here. That makes sense. So you have one on each side that allows you to get there, as well as the red armor, the explosive canisters, everything like that. So, before we get there, let's see here. Here's the blue base side. You have another thunderbolt here. The light doesn't do anything on this side. And you can travel this way to get back to the blue base. Right up here, and you can dive into the blue base, which is, of course, going to be symmetrical to how the red base just was. So, as you see, it just has blue stripings on the walls, telling you you're in the blue base. And you can get the guns, get all that glorious stuff. There's the actual physical portion of the blue base, which looks just like the red base. And we can get the flag. Okay, so let's return. But before we return, we actually should check out this way, which is basically where we saw when we started the map. basically the central little area. Nothing really fancy here, just the rocket launcher and some extra little ammo. So, you can run through here. Doesn't really help us much, but it's a thing. As you see, we could charge in here. We could get to the red base and get back our flag. So, there we are. We captured the flag. Hooray! We captured the flag! That's like a major accomplishment in our world. So, let's see here. These teleporters exist. I'm assuming they lead us to the opposite side of the teleporters that we're seeing in each base, on top of the area with the flag. Maybe? Let's go into one and see where it leads. No, it leads somewhere else. It looks like the upper floor of the red base. I see. Okay, so we're on the upper floor now of the red base. And up here there is rockets. And more... No cells. Okay, so there's lots of different little ammo, but nothing else it looks like. Here's some elevators. Yep, we saw the elevators on the lower floor, so these are ways to get back. Oh, God! Wind tunnel. I see, so those are the wind tunnels, and actually how you get to them. Yeah, I was kind of curious how you actually got to those, so it's good to see a way we can get to these things. Now the question is, how do we get to the actual power-ups, because that didn't seem to really achieve much, did it? Oh, look, a nail gun. That's something. Okay, so that gives us every gun in the game but the grenade launcher, which I'm not really sure where it is. I think we didn't really get to check out the lower level, that hidden area that appears when you shoot the weird buttons. As you see, there's 2 secrets. I'm assuming those secrets have to do with those buttons, maybe? We'll see in a moment. Let's try and see if we can get the stuff on the wind tunnels first. I'm going to hug the wall, and there we are. Now I actually got the 100 health. Probably you could have got it by default, but I just didn't really get it before because I had a red armor, and therefore it was irrelevant to get the yellow armor. Let's see if I actually had to put in that work. Let's go into this teleporter and get to the opposite side, I guess. Wait, no, isn't this where I just was, the red base? I think I was just in the red base. Yeah, I'm in the red base. The red base is my base. That's weird. So the teleporter actually goes to the opposite side, not the side that you're on. So if you want to go to a blue base, you go to this side, the side that's closer to the red base. Rather weird, but okay. At least we're starting to understand this all. Here's obviously where we have our little areas. And here's like the chained in area whereby you have like a green armor, looks like. Little nail gun, just like the other side. Nothing really fancy here. After all, it's symmetrical to what we saw on the other side. Let's go to the middle area. I'm assuming there's going to be a grenade launcher there or something. Let's see what's up here. No, another rock. No, a grenade launcher, just like I thought. And the Ring of Shadows, conveniently. But yeah, this is a very basic little bridge. There's not a lot to this particular area. But it does at least expand with upper 4 and allow us another alternative route between the 2 floors. So as you see, you can just get back over here. And we're back at the first side we already were at. So we haven't really achieved much of anything from coming back here. But at least now we've changed up all the areas. Anyway, let's go back to the first side, the blue flag area. And let's see if we go on the nail gun side. I think that will lead us to the 100 health. So I'm just going to let it naturally pull me and see if I can pick up the 100 health. No, it did not. So you have to hug it, the wall, in order for it to actually pick up the 100 health. You really have to control your movements. Otherwise it won't pick it up. So like you do it like this, hug it, and there we are. It's very simple to do, but it is something you need to be aware of. Otherwise you're not going to pick it up. Just like on this side, you'd hug this wall, and you do the same thing if you could pick up the yellow armor. Which I said is pretty irrelevant because we don't have the need for yellow armor. Anyway, there's still 2 secrets, which I have yet to find, and those 2 secrets, I believe, are the buttons, the area that we saw a while back down here. So let's head down here, see what those 2 secrets are about. Okay, mysterious secrets. Another map with secrets, which makes it more involved than the last map was, because the last map had 0 secrets. Okay, so I believe it's when you shoot this thing over there, you open this right here. Yes, indeed. And this leads to a quad damage. As you see, this is a quad damage. Of course, that's only 1 secret in total. I see. So both sides lead to the same area. And both sides being here Well, that's a problem. We only have 1 or 2 secrets. Okay, we only have 1 or 2 secrets, but we have a second secret, therefore, to be looking for. Let's think for a minute. God is shooting my gun, annoying with that thing. Yes, it's almost annoying shooting the gun because of that stupid noise that appears every time. Okay, so we gotta think for a minute. There's still another secret somewhere in this map. I thought that would have been both their secrets, but apparently it's only one. Now, we could spend a lot of time hunting around, but one thing I can say is that it's likely in the middle area. It's likely not something that's going to be on one of the sides of the bases, unless it was daisy-chained together, in which case it could be, couldn't it? It could be like how we just saw that one down below, whereby it was a central area, but only one of them could... Oh, God! I see! So that's it. You fall in basically the lava, and you basically get a pentagram and appear right back up here. Convenient. Interesting indeed, people. But yeah. And only one of those 4 sides led to a teleporter, which we lucked out on. Or did I just, like, mess it up? Yeah, I think only one of those 4 sides did it. So I think if you dropped on the wrong side... Yeah, it's the one right beside the red teleporter. So if I, like, dropped over here, it'd kill me. Yeah. Really, really weird. So basically, I just picked a rabbit out of a hat, people. I basically picked the 1 out of the 4 areas that didn't kill me. Well, that's brilliant. I'm not exactly sure I'm enthused about that secret and the fact that you had to drop in one specific hole. It felt rather arbitrary, but at least we were able to figure it out. Rather conveniently, too, because I kind of just blundered across it. I didn't even realize there was a hole big enough for me to fall in, but thank goodness, because I nearly would have otherwise died. So, hooray! I was saved from death and found the secret. But anyway, that's really the level. Nothing too fancy, but it at least has a bit more to it than what we saw last time. Last time around, it was, like, only the weaker guns, and we didn't really have, like, a full array of weaponry. This one, on the other hand, is more like your, how the first map was, McKinley Base, and the fact that you have both sides clearly defined with a lot of different things. I guess it's a little bit less detail in the fact that you don't have, like, the actual lining on the side of the wall telling you which one is. But other than that, it's definitely another little capture the flag map, and definitely seemed a lot more decent than the other one was. Though, I'm not sure if this one ever really got popular, and honestly, the biggest dissuading thing for me is the name. The name is really, like, elite sounding, and doesn't look like a proper name. I really don't like it when people really do, like, weird formatting rules to maps. I get that there's only so many words in the English language, but at the same time, couldn't you mix them together to make some, like, interesting name, instead of really doing some weird, arbitrary elite language thing? Like, what was wrong with just naming it DySpHoRiA without the weird capital letters in the middle? But I digress. There's really, like I said, nothing more to really be said about this one. It at least had some different things to check out, and like I said, was at least a little bit of a decent map, I could say. So with that in mind, thank you all for watching. It's been an adventure as usual, and I guess I'll be seeing you all, well, in Capture the Flag 4, when we get to that one. See you all next time.